Chris Gelser here with
Matt Howell.
On this episode of The First Run, Matt and I are going to discuss I, Tonya, starring Margot Robbie, and of course Sebastian Stan, Allison Janney. The story of Tonya Harding, and not just the infamous attack on Nancy Kerrigan, Matt. There's a lot more to this story that you may not have been aware. Maybe Tonya isn't the punchline that you always thought she was. Maybe she is. I don't know. We're also going to discuss The Big Sick. Matt, I got to tell you, Matt, with The Big Sick, every year there's a film that everybody seems to love that I have no pull to see. There's something about it. I can't get amped up about it. You know, it's one of the things I know I got to see it. We're going to have to check it out at some point. But for some reason this year, The Big Sick was that movie for me. And we're going to discuss it. And we'll see, was I right? Because I usually am. Or was I terribly, terribly wrong? And of course, it's going to be Who Dat? Everybody's favorite role-playing game. I have my leather bodice on and ready to go. I just got to decide who I want to be. Wait, does Christian Grey wear the... I don't know. I got to work out this.
I don't know. From the latest trailers, it could be all over the place. So I think you're safe going which way ever you want to go.
Sounds good. I appreciate that. I like you not, pigeonholing me here. And then finally, I want to tell everybody, we haven't had an explicit language tag on an episode for quite a while. So I know Matt really has an affection for profanity. So what we're going to do, though, is we're going to start things off with a particularly nasty clip from I, Tonya. Earmuffs for the kids. Enjoy.
When I was a kid, did you ever love me or anything?
You think Sonia Henny's mother loved her? Poor fucking you. I didn't stay home making apple brown Betties. No, I made you a champion. Knowing you'd hate me for it. That's the sacrifice a mother makes. I wish I'd had a mother like me instead of nice. Nice gets you shit. I didn't like my mother either. So what? I fucking gave you a gift.
You cursed me. You're a monster.
Spilled milk, baby.
All right, Matt. So that is Allison Janney and Margot Robbie. Janney plays her mother. A fantastic turn, I think, by Janney. But I want to talk a little bit about that later. First up, you have Margot Robbie plays Tonya Harding.
Yep.
And of course, you know the infamous. Everybody knows the story. Are we too old now, Matt? Does everybody know this story anymore?
I don't know. I mean, this happened a long time ago. Let's refresh, because I think the kids in the audience, we're starting to get a little long on the tooth. This may seem obvious to us, but not to everybody else.
All right, so why don't you refresh people about that story, and then tell everybody what the film's about.
All right, so Tonya Harding is an up-and-coming figure skater in the U.S., extremely athletic, can pull off tricks that no other female athletes or female figure skater in the U.S. has ever been able to pull off before, especially the triple axel, which generally women are not strong enough to do. And she's able to pull this off in competition. So she is a rising star. However, she is a bit of a self-described redneck. She comes from, let's say, working class circumstances, has no money to buy the costumes or the right training. So she's kind of looked down on by the figure skating community at large. And she doesn't feel like she gets a fair shake, and she gets involved with some scumbags, her husband and his friends, and they, amongst the three of them, and how much who knew what is debatable, decide to take out her biggest rival prior to the 1994 Lillehammer Olympics, Nancy Kerrigan. And hilarity ensues.
If you're a fan of the black comedies, the To Die Fors, if you may, which is what this really kind of reminded me of, I think this fits into that vein. Now, is it successful? I think the big question for me, Matt, for you for this is, man, that was a horribly spoken sentence. So does this film enlighten Harding to you? Do you get a deeper look into her? Do you feel a little more sympathy? Or do you think it condescends to her? Is your opinion of her diminished at all after all this time?
No, so to be quite honest with you, I never really thought that much of Tonya Harding anyway. I kind of believed the narrative that the media spun, and it didn't seem that different from what she portrayed herself as in interviews. And, you know, she just never smacked believability. And I will say this film definitely made me empathize with Tonya Harding some. You know, you kind of hear about the abuse that she received from her mother, from her husband, kind of, you know, all that kind of stuff going down
by her father.
Right. You know, and all this kind of volatile emotional stuff. But at the same time, she did know some of this stuff was happening, or to an extent.
Yeah.
And to this day, even, and what was interesting is I went and saw this movie with my mother because she really insisted that she wanted to go see this. And she watched the Tonya Harding interview, which was the day before. And just like in the movie, she takes no blame for anything, and nothing is ever her fault. So it's kind of like this dichotomy. I empathize that she came from difficult situations. I empathize that she had everything stacked against her, and then, you know, things like the abuse and none of that's ever okay. But at the same time, she seems completely incapable of accepting responsibility for anything that she may have done.
Yeah, I mean, the film definitely does touch upon that, right? I do feel that the influences around her life, her upbringing, and everything around it do kind of just force her down a path, basically. I did sympathize with her a lot more than we did. There's a particularly interesting turn in the film as well, where she calls us out, right? Because for her, it was always about the skating. But everybody was here for one reason. And she basically directly looks into the camera and tells us that. So I thought that was a really interesting idea by Gillespie. And you know what? He's right. I feel that I do have more sympathy now for her than I did. I've made the Gillooly jokes. I've made the Tonya Harding jokes, you know, especially lately, because you know how timely they've been up. And well, I guess now they officially are again. So everything comes back around that. We can start making those jokes again. But yeah, I think I have a deeper appreciation for her, just because if the film is correct and factual, which I don't really have any reason to doubt, I think I do have worked up a little more sympathy for her than I did previously. I know, because there's just some people, some critics who watch it and they feel the film talks down to her and condescends to her. And I don't think that happens at all, really. I think it paints a pretty three-dimensional, fully developed picture of Tonya Harding in that particular time. Not just that time, but her whole life.
Right.
So what about Margot Robbie? So Robbie, for me, I mean, though good in the wow, I'm blanking. What's the Scorsese film she debuted in with
Wolf of Wall Street.
Thank you, Wolf of Wall Street. She, to me, was still more illustrative of a sex pot than anything else, you know, in Wolf of Wall Street. So for me, I don't know if this is like a Charlize Theron turn a la Monster, but I still think this is just a fantastic performance from her. And it actually goes places I admit maybe I wasn't entirely positive she could pull off. So especially the Harlequin character from Suicide Squad, but again, likely not her fault. But I think she's really good in this. Did you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I thought Margot Robbie was fantastic. You know, she really kind of inhabited this whole, you know, character of Tonya Harding, and you know, she doesn't look anything like her. But I mean, you could even just like her whole mannerisms, and even when she was young and kind of doing the sideways glances and kind of, you know, not believing somebody could actually like her. The whole thing, I think was fantastic. But there's good acting in this all around. I mean, Allison Janney absolutely knocks this thing out of the park. But I have to say, and also before I say this, Sebastian Stan was extremely well done as Jeff Gillooly, especially, you know, kind of like those two kind of meek, raging sides of him, plus the later life of Jeff Gillooly. I thought was a very interesting way he played him. But hands down, the best character, best individual in this film is Paul Walter Hauser playing Sean Eckhard, who is Tonya Harding's bodyguard. Just the insanity of what that guy was saying. I loved every second of him being on the screen. It was absolutely fantastic. And then the best part, folks, at the end, they show some of the actual interviews with these people, and they show Eckhart literally saying some of these things like he's a counterterrorism expert to Diane Sawyer. It's amazing. The whole thing is amazing.
Yeah, no, that was one of my more entertaining parts of the film as well. I did want a little bit more of that Hauser in the film as well. I agree with you, but I don't want to take away from the rest of it. I think that director Craig Gillespie, Matt, does a fantastic job. I think we talked about, was it Lady Bird, where you had some issues with the handling of the tone of the film going back and forth. I can't remember what the hell movie was that.
It wasn't. I think my issue with Lady Bird is it just wasn't breaking any new ground. I mean, I was fine with the tone. It's just kind of like
Three Billboards, maybe.
Yeah,
balancing the tone between the humor and the darkness, because we got a lot of that here as well.
Yeah.
I think the film, though, I think Gillespie does a great job. He, of course, directed Lars and the Real Girl, and a first-run favorite, if I may, correct me if I'm wrong, the Fright Night remake.
Yeah, that is a good film, folks. If you have not checked that out, give it a shot. That is a fun movie.
Farrell is incredible in that thing.
Yeah.
So, but yes. So I think he does a fantastic job, like we said, balancing the tone of this, because sometimes it's hilarious. I laughed out loud quite a few times, but also there are some really just emotionally moving scenes in this thing, and Robbie and everybody they nail it every time. I was really, really impressed with this thing. So I don't know. One thing too I want to talk about is Allison Janney. So Allison Janney plays her mom, right? She plays LaVonna Faye Golden, and it's good. It's really good, but I'm concerned that now Laurie Metcalf is going to be forgotten. Now Laurie Metcalf played the mom in Lady Bird,
right?
And that role was much more understated, but I think a much more earnest and emotionally kind of gripping turn. I think that Janney may end up stealing the Best Supporting Actress award because that role as her mom, it's just so showy. Right, it's hilarious, but it does kind of just grab you and shakes you. But I feel it's that Metcalf is going to end up getting robbed because because the role wasn't quite as dynamic, if you will. I don't know. I was just thinking about that when I walked out.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I would hope that Laurie Metcalf definitely deserves to be nominated. She wasn't nominated for a Golden Globe, was she nominated? I don't think she was.
That's so.
But I don't know. I could see, as much as I enjoyed Metcalf's performance and I thought it was fantastic, and you're right, it is a much more nuanced performance. Again, in leading up to this film, I've seen old interviews and current interviews with LaVonna, and Allison Janney basically embodies that woman. That is how that woman actually was. So
yeah,
if that's what you can say that it's an over-the-top performance, or it's just
it's a richer, kind of more dynamic persona performance.
Yeah.
It's more, it allows you to exhibit your skills and be a little more big than Metcalf's was, it's more attention grabbing, perhaps is what I should say.
Well, and you know what? But at the same time, I mean, if Laurie Metcalf doesn't get nominated, I'll be upset. But if she doesn't win, if she loses out to Allison Janney, I'll be fine with that. I'm not gonna go, pitchforks to the Academy and burn it to the ground or anything like that.
Yeah, is that what I sounded like? Is that what? Because no, that's not what I didn't mean to. No. Yes, she was nominated, by the way, for a Golden Globe.
Oh, she was.
It was Janney who won. Mary J. Blige for Mudbound, which is on our list to check out shortly. Hong Chow in Downsizing, Miss Metcalf, of course, and of course Octavia Spencer in Shape of Water were the Golden Globe Supporting Actress nominees.
Okay, that's a tough field. That is a really tough field. I can't speak for Mary J. Blige, but the rest of those folks are pretty damn good.
Yep. So overall, then, Matt, where do you come down? What are your thoughts on the?
Oh man, you know what? I've been very stingy with A's this year.
Ooh.
But I would give this an A. I really enjoyed this. This is, this may be sacrilege to say I liked it better than I liked Lady Bird for sure. And not to say again that Lady Bird's not a good film, guys. Just relax. I'm saying Lady Bird's an excellent film. I think I like this better.
It's a different film. For sure.
I liked it much better than I liked Three Billboards, which is maybe closer.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I enjoyed this as well. I was going to give it an A as well. Like I said, it reminded me of To Die For, the fantastic Nicole Kidman film directed by Gus Van Sant from about, how long was that? 20 years now?
Chris, let's not talk about how old we're getting here.
So anyway, but yeah, I think it's because it doesn't just tell the story, you know, it makes you kind of think and feel. And I got to tell you, I feel that this is, if you think about it, Matt, a much more interesting story than going down the Nancy Kerrigan route, right?
Right.
I think the Tonya Harding version, if you will, of this story is much more interesting than the Nancy Kerrigan version because she was America's princess, remember? And
right.
I mean, and if you take out the attack on Nancy Kerrigan, I wonder like how culturally impactful her storyline even would have been after that.
Yeah,
that never happened.
Yeah, either one of them really. I mean, it really kind of made both of them.
We wouldn't have had. That's true. I clearly have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. As usual.
As usual. Although I will point out this: Tonya Harding, she's still skating and she can still do jumps. Nancy Kerrigan refuses to do jumps. She can't do them anymore. So
interesting.
There you go.
How about that?
Yeah.
All right, so we both give it A's. Check this out right away if you can. Shoot us an email at feedback@thefirstrun.com. Matt, we're only a couple weeks away. No, we're about a week or two away from 2 weeks. I'll get there. We're 2 weeks away from doing our best of 2017. So we may push it off till June or July. Who knows?
Yeah, I know. Let's be really sure. Let's be really sure that everything that came out in we had a chance to catch everything that came out in 2017.
I got to watch Justice League one more time to see if it's going to make my top 10.
Just to be sure it's going to make your top 10. So I'm going to go ahead and throw that out there. It's not going to make my top 10. Nor is it going to be an honorable mention for me. Sorry, guys.
Oh, my goodness. Moving on. Coming up in Blu-ray and DVD this upcoming Tuesday, January 16th, I, Daniel from Criterion is being released. An urgent response to the political realities of contemporary Britain. This bracing drama from celebrated filmmaker Ken Loach takes a hard look at bureaucratic injustice and ineptitude through the eyes of an unassuming working-class hero. Includes a new high-definition digital master of the transfer, supervised by the director, an audio commentary from 2016, a documentary on the making of the film, how to film like Ken Loach, some deleted scenes and other stuff. Matt, are you familiar with Amicus at all? I got to admit, as a company, I wasn't. I know some of their work. So Amicus was kind of like the cousin to Hammer. And I'm a big fan of the Hammer horror films. So there's a box set coming out, Matt, the Amicus collection, known as a studio that dripped blood. The British film company, Amicus Productions, founded by American writers, producers Max Rosenberg and Milton Subotsky, built a legacy of horror anthologies and twisted thrillers that remain among the very best genre movies of the 70s. So this box set, Matt, comes with this film, Asylum, and Now the Screaming Starts, and then The Beast Must Die. I think the final two are exclusive. The Beast Must Die, I think, is exclusive to the set. It's a whodunit werewolf movie that supposedly at the end of the film, it pauses and lets you discuss and decide who actually is the werewolf.
Oh, my God.
There's a vault of Amicus additional disc as well, which includes an hour of Amicus trailers with a commentary, some posters, stills, and bonus TV spots. But Asylum 2 stars Peter Cushing, Charlotte Rampling. I'm sorry, it doesn't star Peter Cushing. What's wrong with me? Matt, no. Jimmy, I swear to God. Interns. Always giving us the wrong information. Anyway, I'd like to check this out at some point because I do love my Hammer horror films.
All right.
A big release for me, Matt. Better Call Saul Season 3 is being released on Blu-ray. The best show on television. At me, bro. You know, they just started filming Season 4. God, it's going to be a while. Includes individual cast and crew audio commentaries for each episode, a gag reel, and a bunch of other stuff, deleted extended scenes, and some features exclusive to the Blu-ray. But I love me some Better Call Saul, so I'm excited to finally pick that up. But I'll probably wait. Matt, I think that's got a good price, like a Black Friday. TV series are great to grab on Black Friday.
Yeah, they are.
Matt, one of the worst films of 2017 is being released on Blu-ray. Hello, Mr. Policeman. It is The Snowman, starring Michael Fassbender. You didn't see The Snowman, right?
Oh, no, I saw The Snowman.
Oh, we did? Okay. I don't know if it was just me that saw it and talked about it. It's really bad.
It's incredibly bad.
So now's your chance to avoid it on Blu-ray. Happy Death Day. A Groundhog Day slasher film is being released. We both enjoyed that one.
Yeah,
correct?
surprisingly good. Surprisingly good.
So you should check that out.
Fun time.
Shout Select is giving us the Joe Dante film Matinee. Remember Matinee? Did you ever see Matinee with John Goodman? He goes to the small theater and they have these new presentations, and he's gonna like the whole
I don't think
50s,
so.
60s monster movie.
I know the premise and I've heard the name, but I've never seen it.
Matinee is being released by Shout Select. I'm really excited for this. I remember watching it when it came out and really liking it, but I haven't seen it since. So, and I know the interwebs, the genre fans are all abuzz about this getting released on Blu-ray. So, and then of course, Matt, the big release, potentially, because we haven't revealed it yet, the best film of 2017, potentially, Blade Runner 2049 is being released. Includes 2 different steel books from Best Buy. They have 2 different covers, one for the Blu-ray, one for the 4K Blu-ray. You buy it from Walmart, they have a model toy thing of the flying car. Includes a whole bunch of making of, behind the scenes. It includes the 3 short prologue films, the 2036, 2048, and 2022 are all included as well. So I am excited for this. I mean, I don't think this is what I'm going to wait on. I think I'm just going to go ahead and buy it on Tuesday.
Yeah, it's one of those things I'm going to pull the trigger on immediately. I'm with you.
Yeah, especially now that I have my 4K set up. Jen's going away in a week, so I'm going to be blasting that
thing. There you go. There, Chris will be sitting in his own filth, watching sci-fi movies.
When she was late coming home yesterday, so I popped on Spectre, even though none of the Bonds are on 4K, but just because we have the new receiver, the sound, it's like theater quality sound, Matt. It was in the opening scene when the building kind of collapses.
Yeah,
absolutely awesome. It's Chef's kiss, everybody.
You know what? Can I say I'm a little nervous about this whole? I'm really interested to see how our best of 2017 pulls out, because I feel like I'm going to have a very populist list where you're going to have a lot more esoterica, and we're going to argue about it a lot. And when I say we, I mean you're going to argue with my choices more than I'm going to argue with yours.
I feel like 8 out of your 10 will be superhero fare, most likely.
No, I've already decided. I think it's going to be. I think I know it. It's going to be 3. It's going to be 3, but there were 6. But it's going to be 3.
Justice League's not making the cut, huh?
Justice League is not making the cut.
Wonderful. I think the big one for me will be if Wonder Woman does. We'll have to see if that ends up happening.
We'll see, guys.
Oh, heads up, everybody! Too, we are a week away
from me owing Chris $35.
We'll see. Well, no, we'll see. That's right. All right, Matt, you're straight to DVD pick of the week. You remember Skyline?
Vaguely, yes.
From 2010, the sci-fi abduction kind of film with Turk.
Yes.
Did you know they made a sequel?
I did not know that, but I'm not surprised at the same time.
Well, that's your straight to DVD pick of the week. Beyond Skyline. When the population of LA is vacuumed off the face of the earth, Detective Mark Corley, played again this time by Frank Grillo. We talked about, I think actually before we were live on the show, Frank Grillo. He's in the last couple Purge films. He plays Crossbones in the MCU. Detective Mark Corley storms his way onto an alien ship to rescue his estranged son, aided only with a MacBook Pro. But after crashing the ship in Southeast Asia, he must forge an alliance with a band of survivors to discover the key to saving his son and taking back the planet once and for all. Beyond Skyline. Matt, what should we be streaming this week?
Well, Chris, I decided to kind of vacillate a little bit, but I think I'm going to go with one last shout out to our Force Run Focus feature, Mindhunter. So available on Amazon Prime, and I believe Hulu as well, is David Fincher's Zodiac, which is the story of the Zodiac killer in the 70s, one of the first kind of major serial killer crimes, where a masked man killed a bunch of people randomly throughout LA and Southern California, and would taunt the press and the police through letters. Definitely very Fincherian. Spoiler alert, this case was never solved and people are still talking about it to this day. But it is definitely a creepy kind of descent into that world, and it has Fincher touches of the best kind all over it.
Yeah, I loved Zodiac. Some people don't care for it. They think it's a little overlong, but I think it's fantastic. You know, David Toschi just died a couple days ago. He's the cop that he was the Zodiac investigator who Dirty Harry was based on. Ruffalo played him in Zodiac. Yeah, he just passed away. You know what I found out too, Matt, that's on Amazon? That I just recently got Amazon Prime. I've been thinking about watching it for a while now. I almost bought it a couple times, and it's on there to stream, which is, I believe, is a Brian Yuzna's Society with Billy Warlock. You ever see Society? You are muted, young man, just so you know.
I have not.
Okay. Check it out. Maybe we should do it for the show at some point. But I've watched Society as part of the USA Saturday Nightmares years ago. It really weirded me out, and I've been wanting to catch up with it again. So I'm very excited to check this out.
I'm sure it's going to hold up as well as it did when you were 10 years old.
Maybe. Well, you have to ruin everything for me. Matt, let's hear a clip from El Bigo Sicko. That's Italian, by the way.
Hi.
Hi. Hello.
My name's Kamal.
Yeah, we know. Yeah, we saw you perform.
Now that the niceties are out of the way, I have to tell you that when you yelled at me, it really threw me off, and you really shouldn't heckle comedians. It's so rude.
I didn't heckle you. I just woohooed you. Just supportive.
Okay, that's a common misconception. Yelling anything at a comedian is considered heckling. Heckling doesn't have to be negative.
So if I yelled out like, "You're amazing in bed," that'd be heckle?
Yeah, it would be an accurate heckle.
Cool.
Oh. Bye.
Oh.
So
Now you can...
I'm going.
You scared my friend off now.
All right, Matt. So that's a clip from The Big Sick. That's actually the moment when Kumail Nanjiani and his future wife, Emily Gordon, meet at the comedy club. That starts down the path of this film. Now, Matt, this movie, as I'm sure you are aware, though some people may not be, is based on a true story. Kumail met this lovely young lady, and then they started dating. They had a bit of an issue because Kumail is a Muslim gentleman from Pakistan, and his family is eternally trying to set him up with a Pakistani woman. And he's just not into that. That ain't his scene, baby. That is not his scene. The prearranged marriage thing is not so much that he won't be with a Pakistani woman. He just doesn't want the prearranged marriage. Yes, so he meets this lovely girl. Things go okay. Things don't go okay. They break up. He still cares for her. And then she becomes exceedingly ill, almost dies, meets up with her parents, and then they kind of form a bond while she's in a medically induced coma. And I think spoilers, she's okay, because I did open by saying it's his wife. So there's that.
There's that.
So as I said, Matt, or in the opening of the show, there's this one film every year that I can't seem to get excited about. We may already have the one for next year, for this year, which is a 15-17, The Paris. Yeah. But this one, I don't know what it was. I kept hearing how great it was. It's directed by Michael Showalter, produced by Judd Apatow, written by the star. Well, she didn't star, but her character, Emily Gordon, with Kumail Nanjiani. Part of me was concerned that maybe this is more, though a great story, was a way to just insert Kumail's stand-up into a film. And then I don't know how well that would mesh. And then it's got Ray Romano. Listen, I know the kids like Ray Romano, but I was never a big fan of his show. I never watched it. I was going to say we all know I'm a comedy snob, but I assume we can just drop comedy descriptor from that. But I tend not to watch any sitcoms that have laugh tracks. I'm just one of those people. And so what was the name of his show? Everybody Loves Raymond. It was like a huge show that I had like no interest in. Brenda. But I had no cause. So it had all these things kind of working against it for me, Matt. And let me say one thing. Thank God for this show. Now, I know a lot of people say that every day when they see that every week. No, when every day, the show posts in their podcast feed, new episode of the first run, they drop to the ground and they thank the heavens that they have yet another 45 to 56 minutes of just gold, audio gold to listen to. But thanks for the show, I got to watch The Big Sick, a fantastic romantic comedy, Matt, possibly one of the best romantic comedies I've seen in years. And Matt, my question for you, is it even fair to call this a romantic comedy? Is that detrimental at all? Does it shave some of the wonderfulness off The Big Sick? What'd you think?
Yeah, I wouldn't call this a romantic comedy at all. I mean, because romantic comedy has a very specific connotation, and this doesn't really have any of that. I would say this is more is romantic dramedy a thing? Is romantic dramedy a thing?
It is now.
It is now. So, because it definitely has some serious pathos in it, and it has some true depth of feeling in it, and all that kind of stuff. Whereas, when you think romantic comedy, it's all kind of surface hijinks kind of stuff, pining away from people
type stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, but this feels very real. This feels very grounded, and everybody feels very conflicted in it. And it's not. I wouldn't say it's jokes a minute, but it is consistently funny throughout the whole thing. There's kind of this undercurrent of goodwill and humor through the whole thing that really sells it. I mean, I thought this was fantastic. I would say that this is most definitely, if we're going to call it a romantic comedy, the best romantic comedy I've seen in a long time, since I avoid romantic comedies like the plague, and I see so very, very few of them.
Yeah, I agree entirely. It's very funny. It's very emotional. Again, another film that balances the tone exceptionally well, because there is the drama. Is she going to make it? Is she going to be okay? It looks like she's going to be all right. Then she takes a turn for the worse. And then at the end, when she's okay, spoiler again. Do you have to say spoiler again? At the end, when she's okay, the relationship doesn't come together. And you know what? The thing about it, it's authentic. It's real. It makes sense. It's the logical decision. So I was really blown away by how good this thing was. I think it does a great job of shoehorning. It's not shoehorned in. The introduction of Kumail, some of his comedy, I feel like I could spot when the stand-up stuff was worked in or not.
Right.
But even then, I think for me, the funniest part of the whole film ended up being, I think, one of those jokes when he talks about when the whole interaction with her parents, I should say, and they discussed 9/11. I was almost crying. I was laughing so hard at that point. And then I think that leads me really to who steals the show. I think what makes this film what it is the parents. Yeah. The parents on both sides of the families add a dynamo stuff. They really but they really kind of, for me, bring the heart of the film. They bring the emotional anchor that really kind of kept me drawn in. Holly Hunter is really, really good in this. And dare I say, Ray Romano. A very understated and earnest performance by Romano. I was not expecting that. Brenda, I was not expecting it at all. So I was really impressed with that.
Yeah. I mean, it's I don't know, there's a whole lot more to say. I mean, it's a really good, heartwarming comedy. I was emotionally invested in it, and as someone who's dead inside, that's very hard to do. Yeah, I mean, for this jaded mother, I can certainly. Oh wait, we have an explicit tag. I can curse all I want to, can't I?
Stuff.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So for this jaded motherfucker, I mean, it was a sweet, good film, and I'm glad I saw it. I guess now it's in contention. Is it 2017 film? Is this going to contention for
the rules are it has to be released in 2017. We're like the Academy, Matt.
No, I understand, but was it released in 2017 is what I'm asking.
Oh yeah,
it
was.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it was January 20th in Sundance, domestically. Not that Sundance isn't domestic, but for the rest of the country, June 23rd. So the festival premiere January 20th, a wider release June 23rd. So you are in the clear.
All right.
Now, I don't know if this should knock Justice League out of your top 10, but if it does, I understand.
You're going to be okay with that?
I guess so. Matt, should I now watch Silicon Valley? I've never seen the show. Have you?
Yes, I have Silicon Valley. The character that Kumail plays is quite different than this personality. It's much more of a smarmy, smartass kind of character who's hard to like. That's a really weird show. I wasn't a huge fan of it, but if you can stomach TJ Miller and being TJ Millery and all that kind of stuff, then go for it. Give it a shot.
Yeah, I don't know. The guys, once a year, they all, basically most of the cast, I think it's him. I don't know if TJ Miller has, but Middleditch and Marvin Starr pop up on Comedy Bang Bang once a year when the show renews, when it comes back. And it's usually typically one of the funniest episodes of the entire year. I keep meaning to get to it, just like The Big Sick, and I just never have.
Yeah, I do. So. I'm a big fan of Martin Starr. Did you ever, just on a Martin Starr tangent, did you ever watch Party Down?
No, that's the one with Adam Scott.
Yes, you have, guys, Chris, and anybody who's listening to this, if you have not seen Party Down, I think it's available on some of the streaming services. You have to track it down and watch it. It is so freaking fun. All
right, I'll have to check that out. I'll see if I can find it. I don't have Hulu, so if it's on Hulu, I'm SOL, but we'll see. Okay. I got to tell you, too, the Mrs. First Run actually enjoyed this as well, but she was dreading it. We've had a streak of films that we've watched together that she has not cared for.
Oh, really?
So when I said, usually the rule is I have to watch it first. There's certain things that she likes, and if it hits those beats, then it's usually okay to present. But this one, listen, I had to watch it for the show. I heard it was really good. I knew it had some stuff that falls into her wheelhouse, so I gambled. And she reluctantly, I think, said she really enjoyed it as well. So, well, she doesn't like to, like most people, smartly, does not like to say, Chris, good job. You know, if I say something's good, and then they say, yeah, that was good, Chris. So there's a wide swath of people who are like that with me. And I'm thinking, what's the one consistency in all of that?
It's you.
It's me. So I think I must be unbearable.
Yeah, just because I guess that's true. I guess I could see you holding on to that. You'd be like, well, yeah, but you remember, I was right about The Big Sick, though, wasn't I?
Yeah. I'm a horrible person. All right, Matt, where are you coming down on The Big Sick? Give Daddy a letter grade. Make him happy.
Give Daddy, huh? You know what? I think I'm feeling generous. I'm gonna give it an A-. I thought it was really good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I kept vacillating between B+ and A- as well. So just to really give this show the kick in the pants it needs, the authenticity, the drama, I'm going to go A- as well. Okay. Matt, shoot us an email feedback at thefirstrun.com. We'd love to hear your thoughts on The Big Sick. Are you months behind like us and finally catching up with this thing? Do you want to yell at me for trying to avoid it for no apparent reason for 6 months? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Feedback at thefirstrun.com. Matt, let's move on. It's time for everybody's favorite role-playing game. I'm going to get my mask on, and we are going to play a rousing round of Who Dat. Here you go. Here's a little clip from something we're going to kind of sort of talk about. I wanted to use a different clip from this director, but the one I wanted to use, I couldn't find anything that truly did a good job of avoiding any racial epithets. So we went with this one.
One of them fellas is not what he says he is.
What is he?
In cahoots with this one, that's what he is. One of them, maybe even two of them, is here to see Domergue goes free.
Are you sure you ain't just being paranoid?
Our best bet is this duplicitous fella ain't as cool a customer as Daisy here. He won't have the leather patience it takes to just sit here. He can't handle it. He'll stop waiting, try and create his opportunity, and that's when Mr. Jumpy reveals himself.
And what you got to say about all this?
What I got to say about John Reese Ravens? He's absolutely right. Me and one of them fellows is in cahoots. We're just waiting for everybody to go to sleep. That's what we're gonna kill you.
So, of course, man, that's a clip from The Hateful Eight. I wanted to use something from Django Unchained, particularly with Leo and QT, because that's going to be my first my first Who Dat for you. But I couldn't really find anything of good audio quality that didn't involve some terms I didn't want us to,
like shithole countries.
Right, exactly. Moving on, Matt. You are Quentin Tarantino.
Of course I am.
You've officially signed Leonardo DiCaprio for your next film, the Charles Manson murders time-based thing. It's not really about that, but it's there. I don't know. Now you're supposedly eyeing Pacino.
Okay.
To be in the film as well. Are there any other big names that you're interested in? What's going on here? Is this going to be your... I don't know. Well, it's not going to be your swan song now, right? Because you're doing Star Trek. So what's going on, though? Who's up next? You already worked with De Niro and Jackie Brown.
Yeah.
Not that should preclude you. But are there any other big names, and what should we expect?
That's a good question. Well, I'm going to be shooting for the moon here. So we've already got Leo. We've already got Pacino. I've worked with Brad Pitt in the past. What I would really like to do is I would like to roll Clint Eastwood out as the grandfather of that sheriff who always shows up in everything who died, I guess.
Michael Parks.
Michael Parks, yeah. Have him come out, I think that'd be something we could probably work out into it. If, we could keep him from talking to two chairs and stuff that aren't there. I think it could work out. I'm trying to think of who else, what other iconic Hollywood actors have I not worked with? There's so few. Maybe we get a Morgan Freeman in there as well. So I think the possibilities are endless. I think I'm just going to throw every person who's instantly recognizable as possible. I want all the extras to be recognizable. I want them to say, hey, I know who that is.
I think it's interesting is that things have seemed to have, what I'm curious about it, in your casting, you seem to have shifted. So initially you were using previously well-known actors and kind of giving them a new lease on life, your Travoltas and maybe Robert Forster. But now you seem to just be going all in on big and or upcoming stars, or Jamie Foxx's, your Leos. I'm trying to think, is there somebody that you had in mind? Oh, even Pam Grier too for Jackie Brown. Right. Is there somebody you had in mind though that you could kind of give a relaunch their career? I was trying to think about this myself. Who's kind of shifted off to this wayside a little bit for the past 10 plus years or so would that be? Like I would have jumped at Michael Keaton at one point, but that obviously is not something that needs to be done at this point. This would be really maybe interesting, though obviously it blows up the entire point of what I'm saying. What if Tom Hanks ever worked with Quentin Tarantino? What would that be?
Yeah, that would be a hard sell. I'm trying to think. God, I don't know. Guys who just kind of disappeared. Val Kilmer. That would be really interesting if you could get Val Kilmer back down to fighting weight. That could be interesting. Mm-hmm. He has worked with Kirk Douglas several times.
Michael Douglas?
Yeah, that was one that I was thinking of. What's the guy? And not that he needs a ton of work, really, but he's just fantastic. And I'm ashamed that I'm drawing the world's greatest mustache. Sam.
I am totally blanking on that.
He was in that movie that we watched earlier this year about the country singer with cancer.
Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott. I would love for Sam Elliott to show up in some Tarantino movies.
That would be an interesting pull. I would be interested in that. Yeah. Bill Murray, even though he's not exactly a surprised he doesn't work with Bill Murray at all. Maybe it's not. That's Wes Anderson's guy. So,
hey, Bill Murray has range. Okay, Bill Murray can do what he wants.
That's very true. Yeah, I don't know. Shoot us an email, everybody. I'd love to get your thoughts. Who should work with QT? That would be an interesting poll. We'll have to figure that out. Maybe do some homework on that.
We should do it. We could do an inventory just on that.
All right.
Our top 5. Excuse me.
Don't sue us, look at you going back to the old days.
Don't sue us, Gawker Media. Okay. Can I tell you how much I hate Kinja? I'm putting it out there. Kinja is the absolute worst.
I don't even know what that is.
On the new AV Club site, their commenting system changed from Discuss to Kinja. And if you're not like an approved Kinja user, which means they haven't like bestowed favored status on you by the staff, then if you say anything, it just stays, nobody sees it. So like, there's like no comments on anything anymore.
I haven't been in the AV club as often as I was previously because I just, with the merger, I just don't like the site as much now aesthetically.
Yeah, I know. It's not very good aesthetically either. It's annoying.
Did you see the stuff that happened? Just to diverge a little further too. Did you see what happened over at Cracked? Were you ever watching any of the Cracked stuff?
I used to watch some of it on your recommendation. Yeah, it was pretty good. But I heard that
and some news, they did a purge. They let go like almost all of
everybody. Yeah. In the Cracked app, they used to have a Cracked app, which I actually paid for 99 cents, probably like 8 years ago. And I looked at it almost every day. And they recently changed it to say that they're not going to support it anymore. And you have to actually pay a monthly subscription to use the Cracked app.
Huh.
Deleted off my phone.
Fair. There you go. That's one way to do it. All right, let's get back to the show. Matt, who am I?
I haven't answered you a question yet.
That's what I'm asking you. Who am I?
Oh, okay. You are Bob Odenkirk.
Nice.
Okay. You have been announced as the star of Nobody, written by the writers of John Wick and Atomic Blonde, and produced by the producer of John Wick. So this is basically an action movie. Bob, what the hell are we getting?
Let's all right. First off, don't get nervous about this at all.
I'm not nervous. I'm super excited about this.
Okay, good. I think it's going to be a big success. Listen, Michael Keaton was a comedic actor who did some drama work. Now, granted, Michael Keaton hasn't done a lot of action films, just maybe one or two massive ones. But still, it's going to be just your typical action thriller revenge type thing with me, as giving you a little wry sense of humor every now and then. We'll see what kind of, I'm just very excited to do it and kind of expand my range. Better Breaking Bad just totally made my career. I was a big comedy guy, well respected, but still a little cultish, right? Not everybody knows about Bob and David. Cool people do. People who are funny and know humor do, but not everybody. So Breaking Bad kind of blew me up. And of course, Better Call Saul. I am on the best show on television. So I'm just expanding my range. You're going to love it. Trust me, it's going to be a lot of fun. And now I just have to learn how to reload a gun with one hand. That's
really my real question. Are we getting some gun kata and a very long, drawn out single frame fight, like a la Down the Stairs?
Listen, if Michael Caine can do Harry Brown in his 80s, I'm going to be good. Don't you worry about it, all right? You're going to enjoy it.
I'm pulling for you, Bob. This is some of the best news I heard all morning. So
You're welcome. Matt, you're David Goyer.
Oh, boy.
You are the main guy behind the sci-fi show Krypton. You were working on writing the Green Lantern movie. And best news of all, you are trying, this is going to be for you now, Matt. You're trying to sync up your schedules because you will be adapting Sandman with Neil Gaiman.
Wow.
David, why should I believe that any of this is going to be any good? I'm just going to call it. I'm saying it like it is. Why should I believe you that this stuff is going to be remotely watchable?
All right, so Chris, let me level set with you here. Krypton's going to be I, and this is how David Goyer speaks. I in the third person, and he says I. It's going to be okay. It's not going to be groundbreaking. It's not going to be as good as the CW shows. It'll be a footnote. It'll last maybe a season or two, and that'll be it. I know this. You know this, but I'm okay with it. They're giving me the shot. Green Lantern, I mean, really, let's be honest, that was such a low bar to clear. So I think, once we do this, I'm confident that we can bring something in. I'm going to bring in some other lanterns. We're going to have Hal Jordan. We're going to have Jonathan Stewart. I don't even know, why not a Guy Gardner? This is going to be more of a core type film, maybe something more like the Guardians of the Galaxy. And So I think this is something that the public is going to be seeing. I'm going to try and take it a little less seriously and still make it something interesting. Now, as far as the Sandman goes, the reason this is going to be good because I'm going to let Neil do everything. I'm going to let him write everything. I'm going to let him have the final say on everything. And remind me, Chris, my memory is not what it used to be. Is this going to be a movie or a TV show for the Sandman?
I wasn't quite sure.
Well, if it's the movie that they've been talking about with Joseph Gordon-Levitt was tied to for so long, it's just impossible, I think, to make this as a film. I think it really needs to be a show. But with Neil involved, with him being back involved, I think you should have a good amount of confidence in this.
We'll see. You're like the reverse Midas when it comes to comic book movies.
I want Sandman to be good so bad. I really hope it's a show. I hope it's good.
Yeah, we'll see. I hear Black Lightning is supposed to be fantastic.
Is it?
I think it premiered this week or next week. I don't know. Let's check that out. All right, what do we got? Moving on, Matt. Who am I?
All right. Okay, here we go. You're Mark Wahlberg.
Oof.
I'm just going to lay it out there, Mark. Why did you refuse to doing research with Plumber without more money? What's the deal?
Because I got to get paid. I got to get mine. I didn't stop Michelle Williams and anybody else from getting paid. They said they would do it for the smaller money. I told my agent, "You want the wall? You're gonna pay for the wall." Well, that was weird, but still, that's the way of my work, man. You got to get paid. There's a story online you can read. I think it's in David Holmes's book. Where I met Dave Holmes a couple times, and every time I saw him, I would ask him, "You getting paid? You getting paid?" Because I'm all about the green, man. You want me? You're gonna pay for me, all right? Yeah. That's all that matters. Don't worry about all the horrible stuff I did as a kid. I am truly, potentially a horrible human being who just worries about his money. But still, no. Listen, it's not my fault that Spacey's a creep. All right. So you want me to come back? I'm not doing this for free. I'm not a charity. You do the same thing for you. You'd say, "I'll do it if I get paid." You do the same thing, man.
So this is really Michelle Williams' fault for not negotiating better.
We have the same age. Yeah, maybe maybe you know what? Take it up with my agent. Maybe he should have pushed back, or maybe she's just too much of a bleeding heart. Boo, boo, boo. I got to get paid. That's all that matters.
Well, you are right on one thing. Most people don't work for free. That's what I can say.
That's right. So good for you.
Wahlburgers aren't going to pay for themselves, Chris.
No, they're not. You ever had a Wahlburger? They have them up in Connecticut?
I think they have them in Massachusetts. I've never had one.
You'll have to go. We'll have to go. Next time in Connecticut, we'll take a road trip. We'll go up to Wahlburger.
Take a nice 3-hour drive just to have
Wahlburger.
Like, yep, that was good. Let's head back.
Maybe we'll find something good playing in Somerville. Yeah. Wahlburgers. All right, fine. Matt, my last one for you. I'm going to let you decide. Do you want to be Kevin Feige or Liam Neeson?
Kevin Feige.
Okay. Why is it taking so long to get you a Black Widow film off the ground? Out of all these films we've seen, the Incredible Hulk film, those atrocious Thor films up until recently, why have we had to wait so long for our Black Widow? There's no juice for Black Widow? Is that what it is? What's going on?
What does this have to do with Liam Neeson?
Oh, I thought you said Kevin Feige.
I did, but I'm just asking, how are the two connected? Do you have another question?
Yeah, I had two more, and I decided to let you choose which one you wanted to answer. Right, I'll give you the other one. I'll let you decide. No. You're Liam Neeson. You retired from action films after taking 3.
Yeah.
What's up with The Commuter? So which one do you want to do?
Kevin Feige, because it's a lot more interesting.
Okay.
You know what? Have you ever stopped to think about this, Chris? Maybe Scarlett is okay with what she does for the Avengers. Maybe she's like Renner, where, you know what? He doesn't really want a Hawkeye movie, or just because the fans want it doesn't necessarily mean that she wants it. She gets tons of money. She's in lots of Marvel films. But she looks at Hemsworth and she looks at Evans and she looks at Downey Jr.
and all their money.
Well, not just all their money, but how locked down they are, how limited choice they have to do anything else, and how burnt out they are because they always have to be in this stuff. And maybe she just doesn't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Sure.
not always about the money, Chris, as we just talked about with Mark Wahlberg.
I gotta get paid. I don't know. I don't know if I buy that.
You don't think you'd buy that?
I mean, I'm sure there's a dusting of that in it, but I'm sure if they went to ScarJo and said, "Listen, we want to build a franchise around you. Do one film for 3 years. You work 9 months every 2 years to make this thing, and we're going to pay you $25 million to do it." She wouldn't say yes. I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know.
Not even 9 months. She'd probably have to work 3 to 4 tops. But you're right. She is roped into all these other adventure films, which take up some of her time as well. And the 3 and 4. All right, I buy it. I'm good.
I mean, she was basically a co-star in the Captain America films. I mean, it's basically Captain America plus Black Widow in like all those movies.
Yeah. True. All right. You got any more?
Yeah, I got one more.
All right.
You're Margot Robbie.
Thank you.
Wow. I'm a little embarrassed to talk to you. I'm a little nervous. Is this it? Is I, Tonya? Is that your masterpiece as far as your acting roles go?
No, this is the beginning. This is the beginning. This is when I've shown you that I am not the sex pot from Wolf of Wall Street. I've had some other roles, the not so serious stuff. I'm still gonna do maybe another DCU film, maybe do a Harley Quinn film, but this is me, Matt. This is who I am, and I'm just gonna continue to do this stuff. Maybe it'll be a little artsy, a little off, a little not quite as mainstream, but I am an artist. It's not just Jessica Chastain, right? It's not just ScarJo who does both. She lives in both worlds.
It's not just redheads, goddammit.
That's right. So, no, this is just the beginning. I will have an Academy Award nomination within the next 3 to 5 years.
So you don't think you're getting one for Tonya, for I, Tonya?
I think I should, but I don't want to be so bold. I think this performance is worthy of an Academy nomination, certainly. I think it's clearly the best thing I've done to this point, but it won't be the best thing I ever do.
Okay. Well, it's going to be a while, I think, when we're all waiting for it, because just looking at your IMDb page, you've got a lot of stuff that you've got announced or in post-production. Yeah, I think this is going to be your, with the exception of maybe playing Queen Elizabeth in the American Queen of Scots movie, this is going to be your peak for a while now, as far as acting goes.
You don't think I could get a nomination for Suicide Squad 2?
Well, I mean, there's an untitled standalone Harley Quinn film, an untitled Joker and Harley Quinn film, Suicide Squad 2.
I am rumored to be in the Tarantino project.
Yes, you are rumored to be in the Tarantino project, but Gotham City Sirens as Harley Quinn, Marion as a avenging Maid Marian, the voice of Peter Rabbit, or a voice in Peter Rabbit, and something called Dreamland. And Terminal. Let's see what Terminal is about. Terminal, about 2 assassins who are going after each other, who have lived a double life as a teacher and an enigmatic janitor. Yes, I think this is going to be your peak for a little while, Miss Robbie. Not that I don't think that you have it in you, but I think there's going to be quite a bit of padding in between this and something else. Which is a shame.
Well, I could work in a little indie in the interim. You don't know, just because my schedule looks chock full for the next couple of years.
You literally can never leave the set of a studio. You don't even have a home.
Clearly not. Trailer. Good times. All right. It's going to be great. Don't worry.
I hope so.
It's not going to be a Halle Berry thing, Matt. All right. I'm not going to do the Academy Award win and then just disappear down a rabbit hole of horrible, horrible films.
Well, we've heard that before. I mean, let's look at the closest analog. Let's see what here we got here.
Who would that be?
Charlize. So I mean, she won for
Monster.
monster. And I would argue that her next role that was really fantastic was as Furiosa, and that was over a decade later.
Yep. What about? I was really good in Hancock.
Okay.
How about this? I challenge you. Young Adult was a fantastic performance by Charlize.
Okay. Sure. I will give you that. I'll give you
Jason
that.
Reitman film.
All right.
And
But
then Furiosa.
I really hope we get a Margot version of Furiosa, something like that, because I think she would be awesome.
Maybe it will. Maybe that'll be the Dreamland one where she plays a teenage hitman or something.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Either
All
way,
I can say is we're rooting for you, Margot.
yes, we are.
We're fans.
We
like
certainly
what you've
are.
done so far, except for Suicide Squad, which was terrible, and that Will Smith movie, which I didn't see just out of principle because it also looked terrible.
Good for you. All right, that's the big hoot at this week. Just an email at feedback@thefirstrun.com. Would love to hear your thoughts. How would you answer those questions? Who should we be? Give us some options for the next time we do it. Next week, Matt, Spielberg at his possibly most Spielbergian. One of the trailers for the post, Matt, almost made me not want to watch the film. With the rousing music and the earnest looks and it's like, oh, here we go.
Well, this is Spielberg at half of his most Spielberg. With Ready Player One is the other half of his personality, and that's also at his most Spielbergian. So we're getting both.
So we'll be checking out the post. We may also be discussing Creep 2, which is currently on Netflix. I may try and see Insidious: The Last Key or The Commuter. I need my Liam Neeson January fix.
And it's supposed to be a good one. It's supposed to be a really good one.
And then Proud Mary. I'm interested in Proud Mary. The reviews aren't terribly good, but you know what, Matt? I do have to admit I enjoy me some Taraji. So we'll have to see how that shakes out. A few things I want to clean up, Matt, because you made me angry last week as usual. So I want to discuss something quickly. First off, you said we'll see how long this lasts. So
about what?
My David Bowie lyric. So here's your lyric this week. I am not a prophet or a Stone Age man, Matt, just a mortal with the potential of a Superman. I am living on. But as response to you calling me out on not being consistent, here's your trivia for the week.
Oh, okay.
Comedy, cartoon, action, adventure, drama, musical, or horror/sci-fi. Choose your subject.
Well, since I might be rusty, let's go with what I know. Let's go horror sci-fi.
This is a really easy. Here you go.
Okay.
Who starred in the Hitchcock films Rear Window, Vertigo, Rope, and The Man Who Knew Too Much?
I don't know. I can't think of his name.
Who starred in Rear Window, Vertigo, Rope, and The Man Who Knew Too Much?
I can't think of his name. I really can't. I can picture
It's a Wonderful Life.
I can't think of his name. I'm literally, you put too much pressure on me right now. See?
Wow.
There you go. There you go.
Well.
Oh, Jimmy Stewart.
There you go.
Yeah, see, you have to do the voice.
All right, check us out on Facebook. We're on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. Just do a search for The First Run. Go to YouTube. Watch the live recording of this audio disaster. You can see me. I don't know if you want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the big show for this week. Matt, let's take an extended break, and we will see you all soon. Thanks for listening.
Hey, Tonya, you suck. What is this, Rednecks on Ice?